Good morning and welcome to the news at 7. I am David Okwasile. The headlines: State government begins distribution of farm inputs to farmers in flood-affected communities. FRSC special marshals mobilized for Yuletide season. President Buhari to host heads of state and government of Lake Chad Commission summit today. On the foreign scene, opposition leaders in Chad kick against re-establishment of relations with Israel. We begin in Oka, where the state government has recognized two more traditional rulers. Governor William Biano issued certificates of recognition to traditional ruler of Oto in Inewi South local government area, Igwe Piti Ilo Mwanya and Igwe Godson Onyedere of Lilu in Ihara Council area. Government House correspondent Eji Kabana has details.
Presenting the certificates, Governor Obiano reiterated the place of peace in community development while urging the traditional rulers to promote peace in their various communities. The governor, who stressed that his administration has remained development-oriented, called on them to pay more attention to developing their communities, especially by supporting the Community Choose Your Project initiative, urging them to ensure harmonious working relationships with their presidents general.
I want you to bring together all the people of let peace be the guiding principle in what you're doing. You must be fair and just. Don't forget that as I give the certificate, I can also withdraw the certificate. So you must do what is necessary in your area. The government of Anambra State is very particular about the 40 million per community project that we have done for the 179 communities. Please, as you ascend this throne, make sure you work very well with your PG to oversight those structures and infrastructure that we are putting in your community. I want you also to make sure that you support us as the party that is giving you this certificate, so that Amaya Chapogacha na Lilu.
The Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Chief Greg Obi, while thanking the state government for efforts made to actualize the recognition and the enthronement of the traditional rulers, thereby promoting development in all areas, said that it was easy for the people of Oto to select a new leadership which is mainly hereditary, and clarified that Lilu had been operating on warrant chief system before now.
And Azo, Your Excellency, and we are here today. I'm happy that now Oto finally has Igwe without problem, and Lilu is making history. Your Excellency, I think I'll leave it at this point. It's a happy day, it's a happy occasion.
Speaking on behalf of the new traditional rulers, the chairman, Anambra South Council of Traditional Rulers and traditional ruler of Orifite, Igwe Dan Udoji, who was grateful to the state government for recognizing the new monarchs, said it will bring even development. In Jesus' name we pray. The traditional ruler of Oka, Obi Gibson Nwosu, presidents general of the two communities, members of cabinet of the communities, members of the state executive, and top party leaders witnessed the ceremony. From the Governor's Lodge, Amobia, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
The State Ministry of Agriculture, Mechanization, Processing and Export has commenced the distribution of flood intervention farm inputs to friends and farmers affected by the recent flood disaster. The distribution, which kicked off at Anambra West local government area, had over 1,000 bundles of improved cassava stems simultaneously distributed to two different locations of Mmiata Anam and Omuenwalum. Agri correspondent Ebeleze has details.
The Umanwelum Town Hall in Anambra West Council area was filled to capacity as farmers from 13 communities gathered to collect the available farm inputs, distributing the improved cassava stems proper. The permanent secretary of the ministry, Dr. Emenike Ezenando, who promised to replicate same in all the council areas affected by the recent flood, noted that the inputs intervention is aimed at filling the gap created by the flood in the areas of their livelihood, foodstuff and food security for the state. Dr. Ezenando disclosed that they will commence the distribution of high variety rice and yam seedlings during their farming seasons, assuring them that Governor Willie Obiano is highly committed to seeing that their suffering does not extend, urging them not to be deterred but be courageous.
My brothers, sisters, and children, as you said, my advice to them is that our first intention is to let them know that we are feeling their pains as a result of the devastating flood. It is not only to them that it happened, it's also to us. The government of Anambra State, under Chief Dr. Willie Obiano, is feeling their pain. And that is why His Excellency in the first place is wisdom has allocated funds for this program to help our brothers and sisters and children.
The Director of Extension, Ministry of Agriculture, Mechanization, Processing and Export, Mrs. Ifeinwa Uzoka, noted that 16 communities were captured in Imiata Anam, while 13 communities were captured in Umanwelum.
The expectation from them is that they will make sure that this is the season for the farming communities in riverine areas. Anambra West is one of the riverine areas that have been affected by flood. This is the right time for them to farm. They are already farming cassava and yam and rice. And we are in the right place and we are in the right time. And we expect them to put the input that have been given to good use.
In their separate speeches, some of the beneficiaries, Mr. Edwin Udora from Igbedo community and Mrs. Regina Nebife from Okwala, both in Anambra West local government area, frowned at the choice of the distribution centers, saying that it is very far from their communities and the cost of transporting the cassava stems is too high.
Already no stop I will compensate and family medicine. What's about the driver? I went on now. You're going back. I call you. I know Queba. I'm a Vakiana.
I am a couple. All my 9 million here. I never go in me. I never guide you. What I want. My million This is Umanwelum Town Hall, sited along Umanwelum Nzam Road, one of the farm inputs distribution centers in Anambra West local government area for farmers affected by the recent flood. My name is Ebele Eze, reporting for ABS News.
And for preparations in the Utah season, the Special Marshals Section of the Federal Road Safety Commission has mapped out measures aimed at ensuring easy flow of traffic this Christmas period. Staff reporter Blessing Ejedibia has details.
According to the State Coordinator of the Special Marshal Section of the Federal Road Safety Commission, Barrister Ben Osaka, traffic control at strategic areas has already commenced in the state, while intensive traffic control for Christmas celebration will commence on the 10th of next month. He said the section, which has the complementary role to that of the FRSC, had series of consultation with the regular marshal, all geared towards hitch-free Christmas celebration. The coordinator made special mention of the bridgehead section of Onitsha Metropolis as an area that requires serious attention due to its strategic nature of being the gateway to the eastern part of the country.
Yesterday, the unit commander of was here and we discussed on how to tackle that issue from the headquarters. So I think we are on the station and we assure everybody that there will be full of this season. We're going to make sure that people don't stay or sleep on the road and the people station with peace.
He urged drivers to embrace the defensive driving techniques, DDT, while on the road, which he said will assist in curbing road crashes. Barrister Osaka, who harped on the need for road users to observe all the traffic rules, cautioned against undue hustling during Christmas period, calling on all to redirect their mindsets for Christmas.
Impatience. And who are drivers should know how to do what you call DDT. DDT means defensive driving technique. They also know how to drive their own and anticipate the driver in the front and at the back. But it's very important. You must know that the driver in the front, regard him as someone that is incomplete, that anything can happen from that angle. Have that in the mind, then you will know you will try to stay alive.
Blessing Ijedibia, ABS News.
Preserving the ethics of the journalism profession took the center stage at the opening ceremony of the Nigerian Union of Journalists NUJ Anambra State Council's 2018 Press Week. The event, which held at Godwin Ezemu International Press Center, Oka, is an annual gathering for journalists to re-examine themselves and their performances with a view to fulfilling their constitutional obligations. Correspondent Valentine Mbadawa completes the story.
During the event open, the Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. Sidon Adinoba, called on journalists to always be objective in their reportage and avoid misinforming the public for peaceful society.
PS has acquired the most sophisticated studio in the whole of Africa. But we all belong to that build a multi-story building at ABS. Now we are going to ask one media house and how what we are going to build in ABS anytime from now in terms of building.
Earlier in an address, the National President, Nigeria Union of Journalists, Comrade Chris Isiguzo, represented by the Vice President, Zone C, Prince Petrus Obi, and the NUJ Chairman, Anambra State Council, Sir Emmanuel Ifesinachi, called on journalists to be responsible in their reportage. They, however, applauded Governor Willie Obiano for being press-friendly and ensuring the freedom of journalists and creating safe haven for them to practice their profession.
On the duties of the journalist, the duties of agenda setting, the issues were taught that facts are sacred. Anambra State, 2018 is considered a fair year in that we were able to plan and execute programs and activities that help the Union approach, bring us closer to the society, and achieve agenda we set out for ourselves.
Commending the laudable effort of the media in promoting peace, especially during elections, the chairman on the occasion, Chief Chinedu Obidigwe, as well as the Anambra State Resident Electoral Commissioner of INEC, Dr. Nkwachuku Oji, represented by the Head of Department, Voter Education and Publicity, Mr. Leo Nkedife, noted that the conduct of free, fair and credible elections should not be seen as an exclusive INEC affair, but multi-stakeholders process involving all sections of the society, including the media, underscoring that journalists are the conscience of the society. Reacting on the theme of the Press Week, party politics, hate speech, and the media, the Director, News and Current Affairs Department, Anambra Broadcasting Service, Mr. Gabe Obaleze, the Managing Director, National Light Newspaper Oka, Sachuka Nnabife, and the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Grassroots Media Mobilization, Mr. Ebunamota, described journalists as opinion molders who can build or destroy the society through their reportage.
Thank you on the occasion of the 2018 Press Week, and also commend the Nigerian Union of Journalists, particularly the Anambra State Council, for the laudable roles they play in the mobilization, sensitization, and conscientization of the citizen.
From the resource persons, today is the opening ceremony. If you listen to the guest lecturers, the other resource persons, what's the keys, the way we can use to surmount them, and that's what we are going to get.
The opening ceremony of the Press Week featured lecture on the theme by Dr. Aline Adum, as well as an interactive section. From NUJ Press Center in Oka, Valentine Mbadawa reporting for ABS News.
The federal government is to embark on massive enforcement of the use of national identity number for public transactions by January 2019 in the country. The State Director, National Orientation Agency, NOA, Barrister Charles Nwoje, made the disclosure at a one-day sensitization campaign jointly organized by the agency and the State Directorate of the National Identity Management Commission on the benefits of the National Identity Card and the use of the National Identity Number, held at the Palace of the Traditional Ruler of Ndi Keliong in Orumba North Local Government Area. The NOA Director maintained that the program was organized for the people of the 16 communities in the local government area and advised people who have not registered and obtained their national identity number to do so immediately with their valid identification letters from their President General and other valid and acceptable forms of identification, while advising the people who have registered and obtained their national identity numbers to strive towards preserving and protecting the numbers. Barrister Nwojim told the people that they could also register their school children with their own national identity numbers, including newborn babies. He noted that the national identity number is a unique number which would be valid for life, and stressed that the NIMSI number, public transactions, without the NIMSI number, public transaction could be seamless and hassle-free, saying that the state has ranked first in the NIN registration exercise in the Southeast. President Muhammadu Buhari, in his capacity as the chairman of the Summit of Heads of State and Government of the Lake Chad Basin Commission, is to convene a consultation of heads of state and government of the commission. The special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, in a statement in Abuja said the meeting of the heads of state and government of the LCBC would take place in Njema, Chad today. Also, the President of Benin Republic, a troops contributing country, has also been invited to attend. According to the statement, the one-day meeting will review the security situation in the areas affected by Boko Haram insurgency, and he said it will also adopt measures to enhance the capacity of the multinational task force, MNJTF, to meet the challenges of securing the areas. Meanwhile, the federal government yesterday announced drastic reduction in the cost of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board (JAMB) and National Examination Council (NECO) registration and examination fees. Applicants under the new arrangement will pay 3,500 naira as JAMB examination fees against the previous fees of 5,000 naira, 9,850 naira for senior secondary certificate examination (SSCE), which is handled by NECO, from the current 11,350 naira being paid, and 4,000 instead of 5,500 naira for basic education certificate, which is also handled by NECO. The new reductions were announced by the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, while briefing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting presided over by the President, Yemi Osibanjo, at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Though the federal government authorities termed the reduction drastic, it is clear that none of the reduction were up to 30% reduction, or in other words, each reduction were mere 1,500 naira drop from the previous amounts. And on business this morning, as part of efforts to manage its debt profile, the federal government has reduced the total Nigerian treasury bills issued and allotted by 1.27 billion naira in June this year to 1.65 trillion naira from 2.21 trillion naira in the same period of 2017. According to figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN said that the total treasury bills issued and allotted was 1.65 trillion naira apiece, indicating a decrease of 1.27 trillion naira or 43.56% below 2.92 trillion naira apiece in the corresponding period of 2017. It added that the total public subscriptions stood at 3.222 trillion naira compared to 3.96 trillion naira in the corresponding period of 2017. The structure of holdings indicated that deposit money banks, including foreign investors, took up 920 billion and 55.65%, mandate, and internal funds customers 692 billion naira or 41.89%, and merchant banks 40 billion naira or 2.46%. According to the Apex Bank's half-year report, the lower rates experienced in the review period was due to smaller amounts offered, fall in inflation rate, and competitive bids. And on the foreign scene now, opposition leaders and civil society groups in Chad have denounced the Central African country's President Idris Déby's decision to visit Israel and his intention to establish diplomatic relations with it. Political and civic leaders said Chad should not restore diplomatic ties with Israel as long as it continues to occupy Palestinian territories And in absence of a collective decision by African states to establish relations, Deby became the first leader of the majority Muslim nation to visit Jerusalem in decades, which, according to analysts, came as a crowning achievement of intelligence and military ties between the Deby's government and Israel. Reports say the majority of Chad's political establishment suspects that Deby's motive behind restoring ties with Israel is to maintain control over the country using Israeli military and intelligence assistance. Chad had severed its ties with Israel in 1972 after the Organization of African Unity, the predecessor of the current African Union, issued a decision to its member states to cut diplomatic ties with Israel in solidarity with the Palestinians. Super Falcons head coach Thomas Deneby is happy to see his side book a place at the 2019 Women's World Cup in France following their semi-final win against the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon at the 2018 African Women's Cup of Nations. The defending champions edged the contest 4-2 on penalties after the game ended 0-0 in regulation time to book a place in the finals. The Falcons are now among the only 7 teams to have qualified for every FIFA Women's World Cup since its inception. The others are USA, Brazil, Sweden, Norway, Japan, and Germany. Deneby said after the game that at the beginning their target was to qualify for the World Cup. He said that the Cameroon team was a good team, but he wasn't happy with how they started. Remember, you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. You can like us at www.facebook.com/absradiotelevision. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Before we go, here are the main points again. The state government has begun distribution of farm inputs to farmers in flood-affected communities. FRC special marshals mobilize for youth high season. President Buhari is to host heads of state and government of Lake Chad Commission today. And on the foreign scene, opposition leaders in Chad kick against re-establishment of relations with Israel. And that is the news at 7. I am David Okwasile. Good morning. Anambra continues right after now.